Oh fuck! I got a message from Zoom. It says this meeting is being recorded.
Yes, I've pressed the record button.
Oh shit! Okay. All right,
Well, no,
but this is
the
this
whole
is the
point
intro.
is
You can edit. You can edit.
I can
everything.
edit all of this out. We can start at whatever point we want. I'm just turning it on so that we get comfortable and get, we're okay with being recorded.
The problem is if we do say stuff that is spectacularly interesting, you have to leave it in, and then you got context, and before you know it, you're leaving all this gobbledygook in.
That's true, but I think there's not much danger in us saying something spectacularly interesting quite yet.
You think so? I think there's a high.
There's a danger already. We're already in it.
Yeah. You know, I thought a good name for the podcast would be the Liban Lectures.
The Liban Lectures. Well, I was going the other way. I was going to do a podcast about starting a cult. I wanted the cult of Liban.
The cult of Liban. And what you discussing how you're gonna begin and continue your cult.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it from the ground up. Like every single episode is talking to someone and figuring out like a tenet or a preset of the cult. And then you just slowly make it weirder and weirder with every episode until eventually you're in this weird Twilight Zone cult.
Talking to someone, what do you mean? You're gonna talk to different people?
Well, no, I'm going to talk to my sidekick, who you're welcome to audition for the role. I'm not just going to give it to you. And, I take emails and Twitter messages of people saying, what do you think about this? And I say, do you know what? That's a great idea. Let's do that.
Listen to you talk about Twitter messages and emails. You really got like an audience in your head. You think they're just waiting. They're gagging. They're staring at their podcast screens, waiting for you to just emerge.
Johnny, the world is waiting.
That's not a bad idea.
They're waiting for me.
You know what I was thinking? All these intellectuals, all the university guys, pretty like so-called respectable people. Those people, you could get them on the blower really easily.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a lot of people reaching out to them saying, "Can we have a chat?"
And they love it. They love it. Everyone in academia is a narcissist. Anyone you ever see on the news. Oh, we've got an expert in on architecture. That's a narcissist right there. They don't get paid for that shit. They just do it for free.
So you reckon we just call a bunch of experts, make them think that we're going to talk to them about their specialty, and then we just get them on to talk about whatever we're interested in?
Isn't that a clever idea? It's like Ali G, but more sophisticated. Like say you get in a professor of psychology, and then you just start asking questions that are related to cults, and it becomes even more obvious that you're actually looking to employ these techniques. You're like, so tell me, how did the Nazis get people to do stuff against their own interests? Well, you see, and so if one wanted to hypothetically...
I like it.
Quite fun,
I like it. That sounds like it. All right, I'm going to type that down. Because I'm going to type shit. As we go along, I want people to feel like, the organic nature of... Well, that's rubbish. Well, hopefully
Repeat the last bit.
I think hopefully whether I cut up to you or not, it's going to be recording my audio on my side. So I don't think you ever need to say that's cutting up because it'll record what I'm saying on my end.
But no. But then the audience is one step ahead of me. I don't like that. The audience heard you and then I don't hear you.
So you want to be ahead of the audience?
Looking like a fool. No. No, I want to be. Absolutely.
All right. Fair enough. So let me set.
I have a little note.
Experts.
I have notes on my. Why are you writing this down? Is this going in the podcast?
We're in it. This is it. This is the podcast.
All right. Well, it probably won't go out.
I mean, this is episode 0. This is episode 0.
Well, yeah. Here's the confidence thought. Why the only reason I can't bear to say anything here is that if this is the podcast, even if this was the podcast right here. And even if we were to gather some kind of audience, by the time we gather the audience, we'll probably be 2 years into this, right? And that's when they'll join the show. And no one is going to go back 2 years to the very first episode.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. There's so many podcasts that are several years in that I've then jumped onto and then like binged through like hundreds of hours over a month while commuting back and forth and just catching up from the beginning. People have a lot of time on their hands these days. Yeah, absolutely.
How?
What do you do with your time, Johnny? What's so precious about your time that you can't binge a couple of 100 hours of podcasts?
A couple of 100 hours. I don't understand. You watch TV shows as well. I don't even know where you find the time for that. Yeah, I tell you what, hey, because you're single, you don't have a girlfriend.
Yes, a lot of free time.
80% of your time just disappears. It just disappears. You don't even know where. It just goes, man. You never get a woman if you want to be productive.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you one thing. You hold on there. I'm just going to change my connection to the Ethernet cable. My Wi-Fi cuts out a little bit.
All right.
Is this the podcast? Is this going to stay in? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, the thing is, Liban, when you the thing about podcast, right?
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter what it's about. Doesn't matter.
No. The content is.
It's a friendship simulator.
All right, am I on? Can you hear me?
I hear a single thing.
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
I'm back with a better connection.
All right, okay.
All right, so podcasts are friendship simulators. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we're talking about, what the podcast actually is. Yeah. All that matters is we're here, we're talking, and we're giving out a vibe for people to take on board.
Yeah, and it's really about whether people like us, which is the truly terrifying thing about podcasts.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't like your podcast, it's because they don't like you.
I have no fear of that whatsoever. I am so likable. My affability score is just off the charts.
Listen, you can say you're very likable in the privacy. This is the sort of thing you can't say on a podcast.
No, I have to.
I'm very likable.
I'm saying it. I'm sorry. I have to put it out there. I don't want our future audience to be confused about it. Let me make it perfectly clear. I am so friendly. I am so charming. I walk into rooms and people just look at me and they're like, who is this man who's bringing this energy and this vibe?
No, you're making
I need to talk to him.
You're making a joke of it. This is gonna rub people up the wrong way, Liban. You cannot do that.
I don't think it's gonna rub anyone. I think they'll be refreshed by the honesty. I think they'll respect me for it.
I think you could tell a person, I'm a very likable person. Everyone likes me. If you say it with enough confidence, they will believe you.
And it's true. Very few people dislike. I think the people who dislike me are cunts.
You shouldn't say I think. You should say other people who dislike me are cunts. And
so make it a blanket statement.
If you do that, you do that with confidence, people will believe you. If you tell someone, oh, everyone's drinking coffee with 2 sugars now, that stays with them, and they think, oh, maybe I should try with 2 sugars. Oh, if everyone's doing it, I'll do it. That's how people are. That's how most people are.
And to bring it back to the cult, you're saying this is what we should be doing. There's no I think, there's no I reckons. When we say stuff in the cult, we say it as blanket statements with confidence.
Right. You say it with blanket statements, and you have to emphasize the point that everyone is into it. Everyone. Like if you wanted to start a cult, you say we have the most rapidly growing cult
in the world, in Northwest London. How big do we make it?
We're currently struggling. We have so many people trying to get in. When you tell someone that we have so many people trying to get in, and I want you. Now
we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas.
But what is the purpose of your cult?
I don't. The thing is, I'm torn.
Sex.
No.
Sex.
I'm torn.
Just say it.
Listen, this is not a sex cult. I mean, R. Kelly got into trouble for that sort of stuff. I don't want to sort of go down that route. I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to be a sensible, powerful figure. What I'm torn about is whether I want this to be a sincere cult where we're all in it earnestly, just genuinely latching onto whatever ideas that we cobble together, or whether it's sort of...
What do you mean we? Who's the we?
Well, you're my, Grand Vizier. You're my right-hand man.
I'll go to your Othello.
True. Okay, there's two. Okay, you choose your position. This is interesting. There's 2 ways you can go about it. You can either be in the cult and then be my right-hand man, my consigliere, and just be deep up in it, up to your eyeballs. Or you can be an objective external advisor who's not in the cult itself, but can sort of a consultant who sees how it's growing, and then you tell me like, do you know what? I think you're going down the wrong route. Do you know what? This is good. You can have that, or you can be in it and be subservient to me. And still,
no,
you know,
I prefer consultant. I prefer the consultant role because I tell you something. You know, I have a moral core. You know, when you scratch
you do. When it comes to morality, you are definitely more moral.
If I saw it was so much funny business, I think, you know, I would not be able to, you know, I would not be able to stand by.
And where's just so I know, where's your line? Like what behavior would turn you? Well, I know what your lines are, but come on, we're talking to our imaginary audience here. They need to know where your line is.
I don't know where my line is.
I don't know where my line is. Sorry.
You know, I did.
Nelly Furtado just came into my mind for no reason.
I did actually want to say, are we going to do singing on this podcast?
Hey, why not?
Because whenever we have a conversation, we always end up singing too much and playing song games with each other. And I was thinking this would probably be so irritating for an audience.
Is it? Or considering the friendship simulator aspect, would they love that? Would they love the insight into what our friendship actually looks like, and they'd feel like they're part of it?
I don't know, actually. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's... The problem is, what kind of friendship do people want now? You know? What are they looking for? Are they looking for... And you know what? I think podcasts might be on the way out.
You think we've jumped on the podcast train 10 years too late? Are you saying we should have done this in 2012?
Well, we did do it. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. And then we just never did it.
We had a day in our almost house with a tape recorder, and we didn't even know what podcast was. The term hadn't even been invented.
That was before. That was 2007, because that was before Amos even moved to the US.
The podcast, and we were prescient. We had intuited what.
Imagine if we'd stuck with it then. Imagine where we'd be today.
Yeah,
millionaires.
The pre-podcast is that history of like bootleg tapes, isn't there? There's like the phone calls, prank calls that people do. There's that one in America where there was like just recordings of two men arguing.
Yeah, I remember that. I know the one you mean. Yeah. Here's a question. Do we need a theme tune, and should we write it today?
Well, okay. I was thinking with the podcast, we could have a musical podcast. You play the piano.
Yeah. Well, I've been learning to play with you. Let's not put the statement. I've been learning to play the piano.
You could tinkle those ivories while we're chatting, and like, you know, we could do something with that. You know.
Well, I don't mind a musical element. I'm happy to try that.
So we could do. What about if everybody listen to this? How about this? We start the podcast with you playing the piano and me giving a monologue, very jazz, finger snapping. Yeah, you enter the groove, and then we naturally, as you know, hit a few bum notes. Maybe you start to get lazy. You hit a few chords, and then we're in the conversation. I mean, that's not just a friendship simulator. That's an atmosphere simulator. Oh, you know, you're not just hanging out with two guys in their fucking bedrooms, two nerdy guys with a couple of headphones on in their bedroom. You're walking into a jazz club and meeting some old friends there.
Suddenly you've got whiskey on the rocks. Suddenly you've got a bit of smoke in the air.
Yeah, exactly. How about that? How about we take everything to the next level?
I'm up for that. Yeah. Okay, I'm on board. Shall I write that down? Shall I write down everything?
I've got another idea. We have ambience. We have background ambience.
Wait, okay, hold on. Here's the question. Are we doing this for the whole thing, or is this a segment that we're opening up with?
No, that could just be our intro. The intro is you tinkling your ivories.
With the atmosphere sounds.
And then we naturally start talking, whatever. But we could also have ambience at some points too. You know, I like the soundboards. You know, those old American morning... I like the soundboards.
Auga.
Not as abrasive as American, but you know, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
A beautiful French woman's voice suddenly reciting something in the distance, you know?
Oh,
maybe the honking of horns in a big city.
You're taking me to Paris. You're taking me. Yeah, I'm there with you. I can picture it perfectly. Let's make this happen. Let's make that our opening segment.
But then the problem is, are we getting too far away from it? Does it cease to become a friendship simulator and has too much artifice? And now it's like, oh, I'm just listening to a document. No, but it's still improvised conversation, so it still works.
I don't know. But then I think as long as at the core of it, we come back to just having a chit chat. That's fun. Yeah. If we can go off on our flights of fancy and our little segments, because I'm a big fan of segments and formality and formulas.
That's what I was going to say. I like that as well. Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of like every episode. We got this corner. We got this corner. We got this corner. We got little things that we come back to, and then throughout that we organically weave a conversation about whatever we're thinking about.
I love that. In fact, I do have a note here with all of these ideas for the podcast that I've had. Do you have any ideas for it?
All my ideas are internalized and I've sort of forgotten them, but as we're speaking, I'm remembering more and more. So let's just go through your notes and then let's see what sparks off.
Do you want to go through the notes? But the thing is, I'm going to go through my notes. I was thinking, when we go through my notes, we're definitely going to put this in the podcast, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is crucial.
But then I don't know, is this good enough to go in a podcast?
We'll find out, won't we? Like, you'll never know until you try.
You're so vague, man.
All I'm saying is we've got the energy. I've got the energy. You've got the energy. Whatever your notes are, who cares? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? This is gold, Johnny. This is gold.
No, this ain't gold. This ain't gold.
Listen, as long as you read out your notes, this is the problem. If you're not willing to read out your notes, then what's the point? You've got to read them out, and then we've got to assess whether we like it enough to record it or edit it or whatever. So key stage one, you've just got to put down something on the page, and we're putting stuff down on the page. Right. Editing, we can think about.
I'll read the notes. This might not even go. I'll read the notes. We might not, because maybe we won't even release this as a podcast.
Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep this for myself and watch it in the middle of the night when I'm bored.
This is just for us.
Maybe this is just for when I'm lonely in the middle of the night and I need to hear a human being's voice.
When you need a friendship simulator.
Do you know what? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I sit here alone in an empty house and I'm like, I could use some friendly voices right now, and not just from a podcast of people I don't know. Maybe I want to hear the voice of someone I do know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let me ask you this: when you listen to a podcast, do you ever imagine yourself having a conversation? What you would say in that conversation?
I don't imagine what I'd say, but I do imagine, I think about what they're discussing and what my own thoughts on it are. I don't really think of sitting there and expressing it to these people.
I do. I think it's inevitable. The podcast literally, when you're listening to two people talking, especially when they're so fucking wrong about something.
Yeah, but the thing is,
it's an invitation for you.
Here's the thing. You and me are different in that I think your starting stance on other people is that they're wrong and you need to tell them what the right thing is. Whereas my
says to me all the time.
And my starting stance, like as soon as I begin, I'm like, what do these people know that I don't? And how, like, what is lacking in me that I don't understand what they're saying?
You're saying you're a follower and I'm a leader.
I think that's what it comes down to, yes. No, do you want to lead the cult? Shall we swap roles? I'll be the Grand Vizier.
No. All right, let me go through my ideas.
All right, let's do it.
Jesus Christ, I wrote this. This is almost like fucking Dadaist. I can't even understand. Oh, right, here's one. Show ideas. Where we talk through a sitcom because people only care about concepts. So I guess what the idea behind this was, we'd pitch shows. I guess what I was trying to say is we'd pitch shows, or probably maybe even books or whatever. Because really, people, and this is, I'm going to start rambling. You're going to have to interrupt me. But people are only interested in ideas, right?
Okay, yeah. Log lines, high concepts, all that shit.
Yeah, that's what people. People are so obsessed with spoilers because literally all that a movie comes down to is this happens and then the twist is this. That's all a movie is. No one actually enjoys the aesthetic qualities of a movie, the atmospheric, energy of a movie. No one cares about that. They literally just So we could just talk about, we just pitch a show to people, and then maybe even we talk about how the plot goes, and then where it could go, and that would have the same validity as if we made a fucking TV show. What do you think about that?
Oh,
every week we pitch a TV show.
Interesting.
And then maybe work out where the plot would go. And of course, we're never going to make it. But it's the same as if someone had watched a TV show.
So they've already gone on the journey.
They've gone on the journey and they've seen the mechanics. And maybe we're even educating people here how half the shit is created. Literally by just dudes in a room going, what if this happened? Yeah, that's good. Because no one actually crafts anything anymore. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. You get the idea.
I get it. And would it be a different show every time, or would it be like every episode we're spending a little bit of time talking about one long-running show and we're talking about different episodes of the show?
We could do either. We could pitch a show every week. And then say if there's a pitch that we really like, we could just return to it next week as if we were in a TV writer. Say, what do we want to happen this week? Well, this happened last week. Where do we go from here? So, but we want to end up here. So it's almost like people are sitting in a TV writers' room meeting, but they're not, obviously.
So the interesting thing here is what we're basically doing. If you take one step back and just point the camera back at us, we're living this fantasy life where we are TV writers, and this is what we do for a living.
But it's fundamentally about the fact that no one gives a fuck about the shows. They give a fuck about the ideas. So it has all the validity these days in the modern society we live in. It has all the validity of making a TV show.
And here's the thing: you're doing that. What you said earlier on about saying things, blanket and with confidence, is that no one cares and the validity is equal. You're just saying it with firmness that I don't like. How do I argue with that? I don't know if you're right or wrong.
You're wrong. Listen, it's not about fantasizing about TV. It's about letting people understand the creative process and about us playing games with the creative. What's improv? Oh, we're gonna watch a bunch of people fantasize about. I mean, what is a fucking movie when you break it down? Oh, I'm going to watch this cunt pretend to be able to fly and he wears spandex and then everyone takes him seriously. Give me a break. That's what a movie is. It's all pretense. All of art is a pretense. Our level is we just have a deeper understanding of what a pretense it all is.
So we're going to do
it right down to the very core of it, which is the act of creation. And that's what we're giving people.
So you want to let people in on the act of creation. That's what we're doing. The act of
creation, which is the only thing that matters. And maybe people will develop a better understanding, a better education than a six-figure media studies degree. That's what I'm proposing we give people.
All right. I like this passion. This is some good passion. We can sell this. We can package it. We can market it. We can turn this into content.
Yeah. Seriously, though, what do you think of that idea?
I like it. I like it. I'd give it
10 stars.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10 stars. It also comes down to execution, though. It also comes down to whether we get so far up our own asses that it becomes uninteresting.
No, we could ditch ideas if they become uninteresting. Anyway, there is 7 out of 10 idea. That's the baseline. We've got 7 out of 10 idea.
Yeah. Okay. What's next on your note? All right, next one. Let's go.
I have no idea what I meant by this, but it says start every podcast with a prayer.
Wow. Okay. You were feeling kind of spiritual that day when you wrote that down, weren't you?
I don't know why. I probably had some incredibly detailed and complex reason for this that cut through to what I thought about podcasts were, what their purpose are as society. I probably had this big idea.
But that's all gone now. Why. That's all in the ether. That's all gone to you. That's vapor.
What do you think of that seed?
Well, we've already decided to start the episode with a bit of music and atmosphere and dialogue. So
did we decide that? What if we start with? Well, we could mix everything. We could start with you playing the piano and me reading out prayer. And you know what? Actually, that would give. It would give a sense of.
So we're in a Black Baptist gospel church where I'm the musician and you're the preacher standing there at the pulpit.
It could be like that. Not necessarily with fire and brimstone. Maybe sometimes fire and brimstone, but more times a kind of solemnity, as if we're sanctifying something. And you know what? Imagine that. You listen to podcasts oh, hey guys, welcome to the video game podcast, blah, 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 goofy joke. You listen to another podcast, it's like, oh, welcome to NPR, blah, 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 boring voices. And you listen to our podcast, and then you put the organ setting on your piano. You put the organ setting on the piano, you play something. And I said, we're joined here. And oh my God, that's a completely different vibe. It's something, it's a momentous thing,
isn't it? Let's see what happens. Let's try that now. I'm gonna.
No, we can't try it now. I don't have a prayer. I haven't prepared anything.
Google a prayer right now. Google a prayer.
But it doesn't have to be a religious prayer. It could be a prayer just about needing unity and about, you know. All right, let me Google. Well, I don't know. Let me Google. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm playing. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're asking me to look for a prayer. Okay, let me find a prayer then. No, I can't do it, Liban. I can't do it. I don't have the energy to do that now.
Wow.
I don't have the right energy. I need to have a sense of,
you need to bring yourself
focus
to a calm, and serenity kind of place.
Yeah, and I'm too jittery now. I'll fuck it up, and it would be sacrilegious rather than sacred.
Okay.
But what do you think of the idea?
I think it's okay to do once in a while, but I wouldn't want that to be the beginning of every episode. I want that to be something that people look forward to, where like every 4 or 5 episodes, we start off with the prayer and the listeners get excited and they're like, oh shit, Johnny's going to go off on one now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll prepare something, you know. I mean, there's many times I look at the world and I see that the world needs something, and I would love to have the pulpit to tell people to love each other a bit more. And then I could write something and we could start the podcast and we have the music.
Is it going to be messages of like peace and hope and love and unity? Or is it going to be, you know, condemnation and judging and like, where are you coming from?
Here's the thing. I don't know if this was my intent, but I think the reason I went for this, and I probably wasn't, but it's not to give a message so much, but I was probably thinking along the lines of what is a podcast? What do people listen to a podcast? What do they want? And I was probably thinking about a sense of community. And I was probably thinking, okay, let's give some words with people, and all 3 of us.
Yes,
you, me, and the audience.
Preach it.
You, me, and the audience.
You,
we
me,
together. We're joining hands.
We are together.
We're joining hands. Yeah.
We are here.
And we make ourselves understand. And you know, there's a ritualistic, psychological aspect to that. That's what churches are all about.
It's all repetition. Keep saying it over and over, and to keep getting these messages together. Get in a hypnotic state.
That's it. This is the chance of the religious fervor, the beauty, the bigness, the sharing of the words, the ritualism of it. And
it takes us to a different state. It takes us to a different place and a different time.
Right.
A lot of people who go to churches and mosques and like all these different places, it's sometimes they don't even go because they're that religious. Sometimes it's just a place to be part of something.
Exactly. We could give people that in our podcast. We could give these dirty, stinking atheists some of that in their podcast.
Something to let them feel a sense of community and spirituality.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a message even. It's just some, you know. What do you think of that idea? Rate out of 10.
I love it. I think that's a great idea. 9 out of 10. This is
9 out of 10.
I might steal this for my cult. This might be, absolutely.
Well, cults do need religions and rituals and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this is all part of the big sort of getting people involved. I don't want this to be just you and me in our own little bubble. I need us to go out and actually bring people into this and have an effect on people's lives, so that, you know, we're in their heads, and when they're out there in the supermarkets doing their, you know, shopping, whatever, there's a little part of them that's us inside them, you know, influencing what they do.
Yeah. Are you imagining that people are going to send emails and Twitters and all that?
Absolutely. I want.
I mean, that's nice. The second that happens, I mean, you're done. I mean, people sending you, oh, there's this girl and I really want to shag her and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the second you get that, you have whatever you want. You can just ramble on about this shit all day. But, you know, how do you get to that point where people actually asking questions and stuff like that?
I think.
Oh, this must be on my notes, actually. This must be on my notes somewhere. Yeah, it's right here. I didn't write anything about it. I just wrote call-in show.
For people to call in, we'll chat to them.
People call in.
Easy. I mean, that's a great idea. I loved that idea.
But I was telling you, I love call-in shows. You know, I love the old. I was even looking for archives of this stuff, like old 90s call-in shows. You know, if anyone's played GTA, you know, the call-in show radio, or Vampire Masquerade.
Do you have the patience to talk to people and like, talk to strangers? Can you do that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be absolutely wonderful to hear people calling in, and you know, you seem skeptical. He has a skeptical faith.
I am skeptical about this expression. I am a little bit skeptical.
Why?
Just because I don't know that just organically talking to someone who we don't know and like don't know what angle to take with them will be interesting to listen to. But then again, like you said, I guess it doesn't have to be interesting. If what we're doing is a friendship simulator, not every.
Right, that's right.
Not everything has to be.
We could have a theme. Today the theme is, I don't know, foreign countries. If you live in a weird part of the world, call in. Actually, we'd have to have a big audience for that. The theme is conspiracy theories. Call in with a conspiracy theory that you genuinely want to make a case for. They could call in and make a case for it, or we talk to them, you know.
I think this is one we have to trial. I think we have to do it and just see what happens. I'm skeptical. Wonderful. I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to try it.
I think it's great, you know. I think it's great. Anyway, okay. Out of 10?
Out of 10, I'll give that a 6.
For me, that's a 10. I mean, wow.
You're that strong on this.
I don't want podcasts. I want call-in shows. If we had call-in shows, I would do call-in shows. All right, next idea. The next idea. I unravel Liban's hate for something. Therapy session. So I guess that's.
Do you feel like I have a lot of hate in me? Is there a lot?
I don't.
Is there
know.
A lot of
Maybe
hatred
you could do it with me. I don't know. Maybe what do you hate? You hate a few things. I mean, we all hate things. We're two opinionated guys.
Okay, what was name one thing that you can think of that I've told you that I hate, or you've seen me get upset about? I'm trying to
think. Are we going to have dead air now while I'm thinking? Okay,
well, I'll cut it out. Let's just sit in silence, and then I'll cut this out.
Let's sit in silence. Why don't you play the organ when I'm thinking?
All right, you think of that.
You play the organ while I'm trying to remember.
Why is that so loud? Does that help you think?
The only thing I could think of is I know you hate crisps and you know you hate seafood, but there's not really something you could analyze. It's just a matter of taste.
Yeah, it's preference. You can't.
Oh, is it? Let me ask you this: do you like the beach?
No, not a fan of the beach.
Do you like to swim?
I do like to swim, but only in fresh water, never in salt water.
And now we've got it. See, this is something we can work with.
But again, that's a preference thing. It's just, you know.
That's not a preference thing. What's the difference? What's the difference?
I don't like the smell or the feel of the seaside.
What exactly? Can you describe the smell to me?
It just smells salty. It just smells of, you know. It's not nice.
Can you tell me the smell of a swimming pool?
Okay, swimming pool is chlorine, but I'm thinking more of like a lake. I'm thinking of like a fresh forest lake where you've got, you know, a nice foresty smell and then no smell from the water. It's just fresh water.
So you don't like to swim in the sea because of the smell?
Mm.
When was the last time you smelled that?
When was the last time I smelt it? Oh, very long time. Years and years, probably 7, 8 years.
Can you remember?
Yeah. It was when I was in Egypt. I went to Egypt about 7, 8 years ago, and then I was in Alexandria, and it was, you know, smelled like shit.
It smelled like shit. You were at the ocean.
Yes.
What were you doing at the ocean?
Just a day out. Just a day out.
Nice day out.
Yeah, it was a lovely day out. Except for this horrible smell.
This horrible smell. It was a lovely day out, but for this horrible smell. How did the smell make you feel?
I did not like it, Johnny.
Does that smell remind you of anything else, perhaps?
Do you know, now that I think about it, when I was a child, I was touched.
All right.
I was touched by my uncle, and that smell happened to be in the air.
It's not. All right, let's not.
Is that what you're after? You want to? You want to break through every episode?
Yeah, we could have a breakthrough every episode. I think we could. You know, if we have a therapy session, you know what that should be. We should have like. I would like, you know, on our soundboard when we get it, we have a button, and when we hit that button, we are entering the therapist's chair, and it could be either one of us doing it.
Theoretically, I like this. But you're asking for a lot of technical competence out of this. You're asking for call-ins. You're asking for soundboards. We're going to need a sound engineer at this point. We're going to have to hire a dude.
What's the point of losing our lives to fucking technology if we can't make use of it? So this stuff isn't too hard. Listen, we have a button.
You want a button?
We hit the button.
Hit the button.
We hit the button, and we hear the creaking of leather. We hear the Viennese music, and now you're, and then, you know, an old German man says you are now in the therapist's chair. It's like a game show.
And I like, okay. Do you know what? Anything that sets the mood like that, I love, and I'm down for it.
Yeah. And we stop everything, and we have to analyze whatever the.
Do you know what? Let's do that now. Let me do the reverse one. I'll pick something that I know that you hate, and then we analyze it and we figure out what the issue is.
All right, this might get traumatic though. This might actually get too heavy.
Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start.
You've hit the button.
I've hit the button. I've hit it.
You hear the creaking of leather, the Viennese music, the opening and the closing of the door.
Would you like to smoke your cigarette first, and then I will ask the questions?
Wait a minute, you're going to do a German voice as well?
Maybe.
I'm not going to take it seriously then.
Why not? I do the accent, and then we ask the questions and get to the truth of the matter.
All right, go on.
Why do you hate the Jewish people?
Oh no, that's
Why? What did they do that makes you feel such strong hatred?
But I don't hate the Jewish people. I'm simply following orders. All right.
I just wanted to paint you into a corner. I didn't even have anywhere to go with that. I just wanted to ask you a horrible question.
Yeah. But this is, and I gave you a horrible answer. But this is definitely not going out now. Then. All right, next idea.
Well, no, that was. I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that for me.
No, you could. Yeah, you're keeping that. Like you could have blackmailed with me. Listen, rate the idea out of 10. Shit, I should have been right in your ratings. Wait, you gave a 7 for the talking about the sitcom concept. Yes, you gave 3. Live podcast with the prayer, you gave a 9.
No, I didn't give a rating for the prayers. I'll give you an 8. I'll give you a solid 8 for that.
I hate
but again, that is with the caveat that I don't want it every episode. I want that to be a treat.
Right. Okay. Therapy session.
Therapy session. Let's go for a 7. I think 7 is our baseline. It's got to be a 7 and above to get in.
The call-in show, you gave it 10 out of 10, yeah?
Nah, that was you. You gave that a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
A 6? Well, we'll split the difference and we'll give it an 8. Okay.
The thing is, all of these segments, they don't have to be in every single episode. Some episodes we have some things, and other episodes we have other things.
Well, yeah, of course.
So
we're going to have many segments. But, you know, you have to, we can't go too far against making it structured, because then, you know, you have to ask yourself the question with podcasting. Why is no one just listening to the radio? Right? Why don't you just turn on the radio and listen to a well-produced, well-scripted show? People don't want that. They don't even think. It doesn't even occur to them to listen to that.
Tell me, why do people listen to podcasts?
Because it's random. Because it has the unpredictability, the spontaneity, the intimacy of a conversation around your mates. God. So we've got to be careful not to go too far down.
So intelligent right now. I love it.
I'm good at sounding intelligent. you know, you get what I'm saying?
I get it.
We got too far down, like, you know, we need to still maintain that it's just.
Yeah, we don't want it to feel slick.
Two idiots. This is the problem. Being intelligent is not good for a friendship simulator. No one wants to hang out with smart people.
Let me tell you something. Nobody's going to mistake us for smart people once they've listened to us for 2 episodes. Even one. I don't think they even one episode, I think is going to be enough to let people know these 2 clowns, these 2 self-aggrandizing, overly self-serious fucking clowns.
I get what you're doing.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're doing. Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm not doing anything, but I love the fact that you think I'm doing something. Break it down.
We're self-deprecating a bit. We self-deprecate, so it isn't immensely obvious that we're smarter than people. And that's why they're listening and we're talking. How about that? I'm talking to you, the man or woman listening to this.
Yes.
So smart, you couldn't find something better to do with your time than go back 2 years into an archive and listen to the very first podcast.
Wow.
You're full.
I'm happy.
Put this in, Liban.
I'm happy to take on this yin yang where you're the person who condescends and looks down on our listeners, and I'm the one who's supportive. Here's the thing. I'm also kind of needy and competitive at the same time. So I'm always going to try to put my best foot forward so that our listeners like me more than you. And are you okay with that? Are you okay with me being the one that they like?
I'm absolutely fine with that. No one ever went broke underestimating the public, as the saying goes. And also, you know, people are so stupid that when you're calling them, when you're talking about idiots to their face, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, but I'm not an idiot. I'm one of the smart ones." Yeah,
of course. So you reckon our listeners won't take it personally when you call them idiots, because they'll be thinking they're in on the joke with you, thinking about the other people who are listening.
Probably.
So it won't be as much of a sting. You'll still get some popularity out of it.
I think they're so stupid they won't even realize I'm talking about them.
Them specifically. You specifically listening right now.
Them specifically. I'm talking about you, Michael, you, Dustin, you, Joe.
Michael, Dustin, and Joe.
I can't names.
That's three. Well, at least
and I need not say women's names because
I'm not sure we'll have many women listeners.
Do women listen to podcasts?
Women love podcasts. Women love podcasts, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but I'm not sure we'll have much appeal. Do you reckon we'll have cross-gender appeal here?
Well, what podcast do women listen to?
Probably something a bit more interesting.
Something about feminism.
They're a bit more advanced. They're a bit more, Yeah, I reckon they'd probably go for a bit more high-quality content.
High quality?
Yeah, this is not going to be high quality, at least not for a while, I don't think.
All right, next idea. Let's move on.
Before we get to the next idea, I just want to say...
Look, guys, we already sound like professionals. Before we get to the next idea...
Yeah, let me say this. When we eventually sell the podcast and make a lot of money...
What do you mean sell it?
Well, obviously,
how do you even sell a podcast?
I don't know, but surely if we do this for long enough, I get enough, people listening, we can then sell it to Elon Musk. Does Elon Musk not buy... Does he not buy out?
Well, Joe Rogan moved to Spotify for a lot of money.
Yeah, but then he's still doing it. I don't want to actually continue doing it. I just want to do it and then sell the property to someone so they can make books and movies and toy tie-ins to. I want a Liban action figure and a Johnny action figure, and we've got to make an IP out of this and sell it.
Realistically, the obvious outcome is you start a Patreon. People just fucking throw money. There's podcasts out there where the people literally just throw money, and that's how people who listen to podcasts are idiots. Who would give money to a fucking podcast? Give me a break. 2 people talking in the bedroom and you're giving them money.
So my dear Patreon, Patreon patrons, Thank you so much for giving us your money, but at the same time, why are you doing this, you fucking idiots?
I mean, people with more money than sense. People with more money than sense.
Okay, all right, on to the next one.
On to the next idea. I have no idea what I meant by this. I'll read it to you and you can just interpret this.
Let me interpret it. You read exactly what you wrote and I'll tell you what you were thinking, knowing you the way that I know you.
Actually, a number of podcasts where we piggyback off small communities and slowly coerce them to our political ends.
Okay, so the way I'm picturing this is I know that you're into lots of little niche hobbies. So
yeah, don't reveal many of them.
I'm not going to reveal any of your ones, but I'm just saying, I know you've got a lot of niche hobbies. So you're thinking of, for example, just picking one out of the air, people who are into knitting. There's probably a forum out there for people who are really deeply into not just knitting, but a very specific kind of knitting. And there's like 30 of them and they're on a little forum and they've got their own little culture and they've got their own little micro meme economy. And we want to go into this forum as two people who are, you know, either experienced or inexperienced or whatever, go in there and then slowly with our personalities just take over and run their ideas and just slowly manipulate them into doing what we want them to do. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, but I don't understand coerce them to our political ends. What the hell did I mean by that?
I reckon you were feeling very political that day. I reckon something happened. I bet it wasn't even something big. It's not like there was an election and you were just in a shop and you saw the amount of tax on your milk and you thought this is going to set off something political. I want to start a movement about this.
But I don't think that's a goal. That's too obtuse or something.
That's very long term. I think we'd have to. We'd have to do that over time where we'd
have to develop some skills. Piggybacking off small communities, that's interesting though. I mean,
go on.
Just finding those random small communities here and there and just, you know. But anyway, the next idea I have is not even for the show, I think it's for the name. It says an occult name based on the destiny of words. Okay, you can understand what that is. Here's an idea. Different music we play whenever we go on a rant.
Okay, go on.
That's kind of, we've touched already with the ambience and the soundboard, maybe.
Yeah, every segment has a music cue and a vibe and a, you know, just.
I'm not even talking about a cue, I'm talking about something playing. Like, if someone starts ranting, this is probably me, I like to go on rants. You just start playing, like, I don't know, Fight the Bumblebee or some shit.
Okay,
just to add some cinematic. But again, maybe that's too cinematic. Maybe we're moving away from two idiots in a bedroom, who knows. Okay, this one's a joke. I'm not going to mention it.
Can I hear the joke?
Well, it's a reference to the investment fund.
Yes.
I don't want to dox, whatever. But,
the investment fund that you and me run secretly.
Oh, no, actually, I think the idea here was that if we make any money, actually, I remember that. If we make any money for this podcast.
Yeah. Which is a very big if. Like, sitting here today, talking over Zoom, that's a very big if.
If we make any money in this podcast, all the money is invested into stocks which we choose and then explain the reasons of our choosing. So we create an investment fund with all the money that people give us. And then we say, well, look, we found this stock. And then we can, you know, talk about how the investment fund is going. And we can talk precise numbers. People like numbers, you know. We've got this much in donation. We've got, you know, even if it's like $50, we put it into this fucking stock and then we talk about it. We talk about how that stock is doing.
Do you know what? I think what that will do in a clever way is encourage people to give us money because they'll see what's happening with it and then they'll feel involved and engaged with it. So rather than them giving us figures. Rather than giving us $50 and seeing it disappear on a night out where you need to go and have drinks, we can give them tables and charts and be like, you know what? We put $50 into this fucking car company from southern China. Let's see how they're doing this week.
Yes. And wouldn't people really be interested in that?
Do you know what?
Especially
I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10 idea. That's a 10 out of fucking 10 idea.
Exactly. And especially in the beginning where we literally, someone's donating £2, someone's donating £3. We're like, fuck it. We put your £2 into, you know, eVTOL aircraft companies.
Yeah.
And we're currently down over 50%.
Watch the money disappear.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Don't you think that's a great idea?
No, that might be the best one we've had so far.
And it's brilliant because we can embezzle a lot of that money as well.
Oh my God.
Just lie about the numbers.
We don't have to, they don't have to know how much
we don't have to tell them anything. I mean,
we get 50 grand. We get 50 grand in a month of our millions of listeners, and we only put 5,000 of it in the investment fund. The rest of it we keep for hookers and blow.
That's the genius. When they're giving us like 10 quid, or here's a 50 quid, we don't care. We tell them the real deal. Yes, we put that money into stocks. By the time we're getting thousands a month, right? Yeah, we can start embezzling. We can still give them info about the stocks and that, but we can embezzle half of it.
I love it. Do you know what? If there's one thing that I love, is financial fraud, and I think I'm 100% behind this.
Brilliant. And we won't do the financial fraud until we're getting so much money that it easily gets lost in the numbers, and we're actually.
And these people are idiots. They're absolute idiot morons.
They're absolute idiots.
And they'll just buy it hook, line, and sinker. Even us telling them right now, we're telling them what we're gonna do, and they think we're joking, and they think we're having a little laugh as two characters, but we're telling them we're gonna rip them off.
Liban, they're so stupid. They won't notice that the second after I mentioned the idea, there's a big cut. And we just go immediately to the next idea as if we're hiding something. That's how stupid they are. It's the perfect crime.
Brilliant. Okay. Perfect I think crime. That's gold. We've done it. We've nailed it.
The next idea is brilliant as well.
I'm not sure. I think we've peaked. I'm not sure I want to hear the next idea.
This one's even better.
I don't know, man. Okay, go on.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Offer the full friends group experience by pausing every once in a while to ask the audience member a question.
Okay. How are you doing this week?
Exactly.
What are you doing for dinner on Saturday? Are you going out?
We stop every once in a while. So we say, hello, welcome. Yeah. Hello, welcome to the thingy. Liban. You say hello.
Yeah.
And you say, hello, my name's Liban, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm Johnny, blah, blah. And this is Don't Talk.
Right.
20 seconds. We give the podcast listener enough time to introduce themselves.
To tell a little about themselves.
And then they say, and how are you doing?
Yeah.
Quiet.
I like it. Do you know what will make it even more immersive? Is if we do it, if we ask the question of our listener in the middle of one of our segments. So if we're in the psychiatry segment, for example, and we're going back and forth exploring the hate, if we're in the middle of a segment and we suddenly stop and start asking questions, that feels even more intimate. That feels even more like, whoa.
Yeah. And we just ask questions. Oh, people like to ask questions. They like to talk. And you don't have to add to anything they're saying. Just ask them questions.
Yeah.
And just say, What do you think of that idea? 10 out of 10, right?
100 out of 10. That's fantastic.
Let's do it. We could leave it with empty space, or we could do it like those kids' books or translation books, where we have a beep, where we ask a question. When you hear the beep, pause your podcast player and answer the question yourself. Play along at home. So we answer the question, and how are you today, dude? And then they know to pause and say, oh, I'm doing all right. I'm a bit thingy. My mum's dead and blah, blah.
Yeah. Tough day at the funeral.
Oh, that's brilliant. Anyway, on with the show.
Do you know what? There's a lot of lonely people out there today who would love this.
Exactly.
Like, if there's one thing that, 21st century Western society is, it's endemic and rife with lonely people.
Yes, you're taking the words out of my mouth.
Like, the nuclear family has broken down the texture of our society. Everybody's alone. There's a lot of people in bedrooms out there who need us. We're doing a public service by embezzling and all of this shit.
That's the reason podcasts exist. That's why we listen to podcasts instead of radio documentaries. That's why we watch Twitch streams. That's why, instead of
playing a game yourself.
Proper movies. That's why, Liban. That's why.
Yes, John.
Oh, I could go on a massive rant.
No, do it. We're here. No. Go on.
we're not going to get through this. I'm going to leave. I'm going to have to leave before. Anyway, we've still got some. It's not a lot to go, but we'll keep going. Let me see what
this is. This is the best start to a podcast I've ever heard. This might be the best podcast episode anybody's ever done. I think we're on fire.
I think you need a bit more confidence when you say something like that, Liban.
Was I not? Wait, how much more confidence do you need? I literally said this is the best thing that anybody's ever done.
Actually, these other ideas aren't so good. I would do jingles, play the jingles. If that all fails, then we do live composition. Oh yeah, I did want to do a live composition. Since we're structuring the podcast now, developing. We could also literally compose the jingles if we have jingles.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, it all comes down to letting people in on the act of creation.
That's right. Because
that's what matters to you, isn't it? The act of creation, and that's the number one.
More people need to understand that. This is why we get away with shit art, because no one can see you can show someone a shit piece of art and they still can't see the mechanics of it. People are so dazzled by anything because no one actually. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting. But the idea is
Flight of the Bumblebee just plays under you as you rant.
Yeah, we have. I was going to connect like Ableton so that it would record on the thing, and then you could hear we play, and then what do you think? You've obviously got your piano.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm all in for letting people in behind the scenes.
And we get it, it's like stepping into a studio when like the Rolling Stones are doing an album, or Motown Studios with it, Fraser and I forgot the other name. What was the other guy?
Fraser.
No, it was Fraser and another guy. Those like three guys that composed like half the Motown shows. And I remember they said they used to get a big bucket of chicken and they would just bang out tunes all night long. Anyway, next idea.
Can I rate that idea before we go ahead?
Yeah, go on. I haven't done the range back the last 5, but go on.
It's fine. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for that one.
9 out of 10.
Fantastic.
All these ideas are...
Everything about the act of creation and letting people in on it is just top tier for me. And one of the things I like about it is that there's no wasted time. There's no time outside the podcast where we're working on it, where, people will see the result and people will see the process. And every single second is monetized and made efficient, so we can really get rich.
Yeah, and nothing is more revealing about a person. Nothing will reveal the inner countenance of our spirits, Liban, and how we create music.
And what we put into what we create.
And what we do, and probably we'll end up having arguments.
I mean, I can see that happening very easily because you have very strong opinions when it comes to music, and
so do you.
I don't have very strong opinions, but I've got enough opinions that I know they'd upset you.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. The next idea, not very interesting. Prank calls (brackets) for American audience.
Yeah, because they need to have like the dumbest, low quality.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of prank calls. I'm going to give that a 1 out of 10.
I'm not a fan of prank calls. Maybe there's a more sophisticated way we could do it.
Is there?
Yeah, you're right. No, ditch that.
I think
this is the last idea I think I have. Are you ready for the last idea?
Before we do that, if this is going to be the last idea, let's also make it the last thing we do on the episode for today. I think we need to think of a way to end the show. So let's think of that first. Let's think of a way to end the show, then do your last idea, and then do the show ending thing.
I've got a great idea.
Go on.
I've got a great idea for how we end the show.
All right, because you're saying this with the confidence of a man who's about to drop the mic. I am so ready for this.
Here's how we end it. We're talking. Actually, I've got 2 ideas for how we could end it now. We're talking. You start playing the piano. Okay. You play a certain tune. How about this? A certain tune. And when you start playing that tune, people know it's the end. And you start playing it, you start playing that tune, and then
just drown you out, slowly drown you out. Like you're in the middle of talking, and then I start playing it.
Yeah. And I have to, and maybe if I want to keep going, I have to say, no, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Business.
You ain't gonna push me off the stage.
Yeah. And every podcast ends with a fade out. We're still talking. It ends with a fade out.
so that every episode links into the next one, and it just feels like it's the natural continuation of the, because even the beginning of our episodes are the music thing where it's just the vibe. So it's literally,
it comes out,
every episode just naturally leads into the next one. So when people are binging it, it just feels like one long party that never ends.
It's like a drain. It's like a drain.
The summer that never finished. All right, what's the other one? You said you had
the other idea I thought is we could mimic the endings, iconic endings from movies and music, if there are any iconic endings.
I prefer the first one. I like the first one.
Yeah, I was thinking about how to do it because I was just thinking, Sopranos ends by just going to black, but you can't really do that on the podcast.
I think the thing about the movie endings is that there's not enough that are famous and recognizable enough that it would have an impact with the people listening. You do 10 of them. You do 10 of them, and that's the most famous movies gone. You do the endings of the Sopranos. You do the Sixth Sense twist ending. You do the fucking who knows. You do like 10 that people know, and then we're getting into the weeds, and nobody has any idea what we're doing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Who cares? No one even listens to the end of the podcast. I mean, I usually stop it. The second I hear people saying, all right, well, that's today's show, bang, off. It doesn't matter. And we have a fade out. They don't even know it's coming.
They don't even know
They don't even know. You just start playing that tune.
Yeah.
We will compose like an ominous, just a simple melody that can be played on the piano. And then you can call it. You can call like the ending whenever you want. You just start playing that little melody.
And then we can use that for comedic effect as well. Like just 5-10 minutes into the show, when I don't like what you're saying, I'll just start playing the ending tune. And
that joke is already dry. We ain't even done it yet.
We ain't even done it. It's already annoying.
All right, but here's the last idea. Unwanted advice, where we give advice to random questions we found online. So I guess this is like
I feel like too many podcasts give people advice. There's so many.
This is like if we go on one of those Reddit relationships things or something.
Yeah.
Something's happening, and we give advice as if they actually came to us. Maybe not a good idea. You're right.
I don't know. I just feel like the advice thing is a bit overdone. There's a lot of agony on and like sex advice, and there's a lot of I think this is very well trod territory. We don't need to get into.
But the people love it. The people love it.
They do love it, but are we artists who give people what they want, or artists who give people what they need? What they need, Johnny.
That's a big question. That is a big question. What are we doing here? Are we going to give the people what they want,
or are we going to give them what they need?
A lot of people ended up broken in the gutter, giving people what they need rather than what they want, Liban. And a lot of people are fucking rich, giving people what they want. What do we want? Money or integrity?
Oh, mate, I want a bucket load of money.
Well, there you go.
I've lived with integrity for a long time, and it's not really gotten me anywhere.
There you go, Liban.
All right, hold on. We're putting in the idea. We're doing the unwanted advice because it's what the people want.
Doing it, really?
We're giving it to them. People listening to this, I want you to know, I, Liban, have no interest, zero. This is a 0 out of 10 idea because I don't care about relationship advice, but I will do it because it's what you want, you stupid pigs.
Yeah. I mean, people love it. People do love it. I've forgotten what I was going to say now. I was going to say something that was fundamental to the podcast, and I've forgotten it.
There's going to be a lot of that.
Give me a second. Play the organ while I try and remember. Oh yeah, I've remembered. Liban, come back. Liban, he's lost himself. He's enraptured in the music. He's entered the zone.
Right, you said.
Can you hear me when you're at the... Of course you can. You've got your headphones.
Yeah, I've got my headphones on. We're good.
There's not enough stuff here about culture.
We've talked about nothing but culture.
No, I'm talking about we need to have something where we talk about the books we're reading, the movies we're watching. We need to give the people what they want. We give them reviews. We give them opinions about culture.
Because people like reviews.
People like reviews, but also we could recommend them stuff. I mean, that's what. To be honest with you, I like certain podcasts just because they talk about. They're not even good podcasts. The people there aren't even insightful, but they talk about like some interesting books or movies, and I just pick them up for recommendations. You don't want to do
that. Again, it's giving the people what they want.
It's giving the people what they want. And we could do some interesting stuff. We could have like every week, you and I are going to watch one movie that one of us suggests, and then we have to come back and
talk about it. Okay, all right.
You don't like that.
I don't like it, but I think we must do it. I think that's another segment. It's again, people, listeners, dear friends, dear Patreon, subscribers. This is a terrible idea. It's a 0 out of 10 idea, but I
really think. Well, hold on. You think that's a 0 out of 10 idea?
I think the last 2 ideas you have had are 0 out of 10 ideas because it's what the people want. But again, I am willing to bring myself down to that. I'm sorry. I thought I was meant to be the likable one and the one who didn't look down on our listeners. But we've switched roles. Suddenly you're the populist and I'm the one sneering.
I actually like the idea. I don't think it's just what people want. I mean, for instance, you watched The Matrix recently. Right?
Who hasn't? It's big. It came out.
Well, I haven't watched it. I'm waiting to go to cinema, but you could tell a bit about your thoughts. Come on, what do you think about The Matrix?
I mean, it was a movie. It had a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Like, what do I have to say that it hasn't already been said and been written 10,000 miles of paragraphs?
I haven't read a single review about it, and because this is my friendship simulator of choice, and I love these guys and I listen to them religiously.
I see what you're saying.
I want Liban's opinion on the movie because he steered me right before. Yes, this is what all fucking.
Okay, but I can't steer you right. I can just steer you towards me. That's what I can.
But that's
I can steer you towards me. I can make you closer to me so that we feel closer by telling you what I think about it, and then you can come to me if you agree with me, and just keep coming closer until eventually we're just one amorphous blob, just a single hive mind.
Well, yeah, that's where we already are. So, what's your review for Matrix? Should I go and watch it?
Yes. It's worth watching. It's got some great visuals. It's got a couple of nice ideas in there. Unfortunately, it's got very boring action scenes. The action scenes are boring, not that well done. They're overly long, and it's like gratuitous sex scenes where it adds nothing to the movie. So if you can if you're okay sitting through shitty action, that's fine.
The story's
fun. I enjoyed it. I think the best parts were the parts where it calls back to the original, the nostalgia and the bits that make you think about what made the original Matrix so great and revolutionary. That's, in a way, that's a condemnation, isn't it? The fact that it doesn't stand on its own 2 feet. I'd still watch it though. I'd still say that's something worth watching.
So let's say we have a review scale. Mm-hmm. Except this is a different kind of review scale. This is the more advanced. I've just developed it right now. It's revolutionary.
This is the act of creation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing this live. Johnny is throwing ideas out there. He's synthesizing. He is... Go on, Johnny.
That's right. So this is the review scale. Instead of a ranking on a slider, we're going to rank different aspects of the movie. Right, okay. I'm going to ask you a series of binary questions. And you answer which binary option you would suggest for The Matrix, Revolutions, Resurrections, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So, should we watch this film in cinema or at home?
Cinema.
Should we pirate or pay?
Oh, I know I said cinema, which means you have to pay, but I'd also say pirate. Fuck, I love this binary scale. This is fucking... Johnny, we just fucking cracked the case. We blew the whole thing wide open.
I'm not done yet. Should we pause for toilet breaks?
Oh my God. This is what happens. I thought we peaked. I thought we were at the top and we should have just left after the financial fraud. But we stayed in it. We stayed in the zone. We kept going and we found even more nuggets of gold. This is Should you pause for the toilet? Absolutely, you should. But again, I said you should go into the cinema. So what does that say?
Yeah, what does that say exactly?
It's tough. Oh. It's.
Wait, I had one more on the tip of my tongue. I had one more on the tip of my tongue. What was I going to say?
You keep thinking about that, and I'll just talk. It's about the fact that the visuals are worthy of the cinema. The visuals of the movie are worthy of the cinema, but the content itself is worthy of piracy and worthy of pausing and breaking the mood so that you can go to the toilet and relieve yourself.
No, it's not just about pausing. I was thinking also, should you have a phone in your hand?
Absolutely not.
So you're implying that you pay attention for every second of the movie?
Again, those action scenes were pretty dire. I'd say you can hold your phone in your hand for the action scenes, but not for the rest of it.
See, I had another question, and the aim of the question, the binary question, was to get down to, is this movie worth thinking about? And I've forgotten what the question was. It was something about a dinner party, but I can't remember what it was now.
Is this a philosophical movie?
Is this a philosophical
Yeah, it's a little in-joke just for us. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You'll get there one day. I mean, this is day one. We're just getting to know each other. One day we'll have in-jokes with you as well. It's fine. It's no biggie.
Yeah. All right, so is that it? You don't have any suggestions?
Oh God, this makes me look
I've got about 10 minutes, probably 10, 15 minutes before.
You've put down so much. You've given us so many strong ideas, a couple of shit ones. You've put yourself out there and exposed yourself in a way that I just haven't. And I'm really...
You did it, wait a minute. You didn't come up with anything.
I came up with nothing. We've literally been sitting here for an hour going through everything that you've thought about, and that was all you. I've just been sitting here reacting and elevating.
And you didn't.
I've been elevating your ideas.
You do, but you did, but some of them didn't require much elevation. Let's be honest. You didn't come up with any ideas for the podcast.
I think my whole idea was the cult thing as sort of an umbrella, which would allow me to explore lots of different ideas in lots of different little segments. And I think just having a nice formal little structure, not throughout the whole thing, but having segments and being segment oriented was my approach to it. And I think I just want to, exactly what we've done today, just go ahead, do it, repeat it until we find a groove, and then just find the thing during the process, doing the act of creation live. That's been my angle.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
So well, I can't say I've had ideas, but I've brought energy. I've brought energy, vibe.
But you only need reaction. That's all, didn't it? That is what a podcast is. That is what podcast. If we were more about the ideas, we'd literally just be fucking making radio documentaries, which are a million times better than podcasts anyway.
I mean, are they?
Podcasts, yes, they are. Podcasts are the laziest thing people can do. It's the laziest thing to listen to, and that's why society loves podcasts, because we're all lazy.
Brilliant.
And me doing a podcast is putting myself in the swamp, covering myself in the muck to try and grab people by the hair and dredge them up back onto land.
You're trying to give them a taste of what things could be.
These absolute morons, the absolute decline of the.
So in K-pop, different fan bases have different names. So like people who are big fans of the band BTS, they're called the Army. People who are fans of Blackpink, they're called something else. So every fan base has different names.
Well, no, they all have the same name as well, though. Call them idiots, right?
I mean, that's what I'm leading towards, is the fact that maybe our fan base, the people who love us, should be called the cretins, or just something that makes it very clear how much
we shouldn't disparage the people who listen to us. To be fair, they deserve. If you're listening to this, you deserve
some measure of respect.
Some measure of respect. I mean, God knows there's a.
What do we respect them for? The people who are listening right now, what do we respect and like about them?
Just about, I mean, if there's one thing about being in, there's all this other shit you could be listening to. which is absolutely not edifying. I mean, not that this is edifying or interesting in any way, but there's God knows there's so much other mind stuff. Although, I tell you, anyway, but let's not go. We're going to put a whole rant about this. We need to figure out a fucking name for the podcast. We need to do that.
How about we do that in the next episode? The next episode, we'll figure out the name.
Let me tell you, names are very important.
Names are powerful. We know this.
As I put in my note, and and I'm terrible with names. I'm absolutely terrible with names.
Well, the thing is, we're going to do this a bunch more times. We're going to record a bunch more times before we actually get down to it and publish it. So we've got time to come up with the name. I'm not too worried about it.
Mate, I've had time to come up with names before. I still come up with shit. In fact, you give me more time, I'll just think up an even more stupid name, and I'll overthink it until I'm so close to it I can't see.
Here's my mission for the next episode. I'm going to write down 10 names, and then we're going to narrow it down to 1.
10?
Yes, I'm going to write down 10 names, 10 potential names for the episode, for the show, and then we'll narrow it down to 1 and pick it live on
just
the
10.
Yeah.
Just 10. Put some work in, you lazy cunt. Give me 20.
The funny thing is, you think I'm being a lazy cunt. I thought I was going above and beyond. I thought I was like, shit, I'm showing that I give a shit by doing 10.
No.
All right, 20?
We've got some. The Liban lectures.
The cult of Liban. It's very Liban-centric at the moment.
I don't like the cult of Liban. It's even if it is about the cult, it's too simple. The cult of Liban. I don't. No.
Okay.
The Liban lectures. Now that has power. That has power and integrity.
The
Liban lectures.
It's not going to draw people in because they're going to think it's going to be some idiot, pontificating at them and telling them what they should do and how they should live. That's not what we're here for.
Once you're done with that, then we've got to do like the image and the I don't know. It has integrity. We could put it in the education section. Check a couple of fuddy daddies to listen to this.
We'll come back to this. Let's wrap this up. How did we say we were going to end it? With the song, right? We have to come up with. All right. Well, we don't have an ending tune, so for now, I'm just going to play a 2-5-1. Let me go back to regular piano.
Can you hear the screaming from the kids outside?
No. Do you hear
that? Yeah. I heard something and then it cut out. Yeah, it cuts out, Liban. I think the Zoom is cutting out the some of the audio. We'll have to fix that. Okay,
yeah,
maybe,
fair enough.
Maybe, all right, we'll
all right, just say goodbye. Just say goodbye.
So we're not going to do the fade out thing, which I like.
Well, not today, but we'll do it.
Just fade out. Start fading out now. And I'll continue talking as if we're going on, and then I'm just still talking, and we're fading out, and there we go.
Boom. There we go. I'll do that in post. We're done.
That's quite a quick fade out, though. We have to talk a bit longer.
I tell you what, we haven't faded out yet. Keep talking, and we'll do it again. Keep talking. Okay. Start on one of your rants.
The thing about a fade out, you don't want it to happen too quickly. You have to do it over time. So we keep on going, and my voice is getting further and further away. And I'm moving away into the distance. I'm falling into the depths. There really should be music with this stuff, to give that sense of a dreamlike quality to my voice getting ever quieter as I go further and further away, repeating the chorus, the refrain, and all.